Almost every major real estate decision in Abuja has one thing behind it that a lot of people rarely pay attention to. That is the master plan. Now, if you understand what the master plan is, how the master plan works, you know where your land is, where you're buying, and you'll be able to make better buying decisions. So in our video today, I'm going to be sharing 5 things every property buyer in Abuja needs to know about the Abuja Master Plan. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is what the master plan is. Before you know the things about Abuja Master Plan, you should understand what the master plan itself is. So what is the Abuja Master Plan? It is simply a blueprint that describes, that shows how the development of the Federal Capital City of Nigeria should be. So think of it like a road map. Now, before you build a house, you need a plan that shows where the kitchen, the room, the sitting area, the bathroom should be. Same way in the case of Abuja. The master plan just shows you the different areas where we have residential spaces, commercial spaces, special land use spaces, and where the roads should go, where the bridges should stay, where the green areas and parks should be. That is what the master plan simply is. So this is very important. If you understand this, you know that in the city of Abuja, you're not just meant to buy land because a developer asked you to buy land, that the area is, fast developing. When you see land and you're interested in that land, you shouldn't just ask the other questions like, oh, the location and all of that. You should also find out if the Abuja Master Plan is implemented where this land is. And if it is implemented, what is the land use? Understand it. So if your goal is to buy a commercial plot, then make sure that the land you're paying for is supposed to be used for a commercial plot. If it is for residential, the same thing applies. So now that you understand what the Abuja Master Plan is, let's move to the second thing you should know. The second point is, why was Abuja created and why was this location chosen as the capital of Nigeria? Let's take this back a little while. Now, over a few decades ago, Nigeria's capital was Lagos. Now, Lagos was a developed city, and as Nigeria grew, population increased, and then there was the issue of expansion. And then the government thought, oh, with Lagos we may not be able to expand, and plan for Nigeria's future growth. And then they began to look for another place, and that is how Abuja came to be. Now, while Abuja was chosen, one of the major reasons it was chosen was because it was central, right? All the other parts of Nigeria can easily access Abuja. And another reason is it had a very large expanse of underdeveloped land. Now, this gave Nigeria an opportunity to start all over again. What it simply means is that they began to plan, for the current capital and the future of it. So when we say that Abuja is one of the first crafted, properly designed and planned cities, this is the reason why. So as Lagos experienced traffic, overpopulation, and large expanse of land for expansion, the government found that in Abuja and chose Abuja as the capital city. Now, when they chose Abuja as the capital city, the first thing they did was to plan. That is why we always say Abuja is a planned city. Now, if you look at the map of Abuja, which is here, you would see that Abuja is in phases, right? We have the phase 1 here, which is this blue. We have phase 2, which is the gray, phase 3, the green, phase 4, which is the pink, and then phase 5 is the yellow. You can see how organized this is, right? So this is just the map of Abuja to let you know that before you plan something, you should have something on ground that directs you to where you want that thing to be, whatever it is you want to achieve. The plan for Abuja wasn't just for other parts of Nigeria to easily access it. It was also for the city itself. Now, right here in the city of Abuja, we have so many connecting roads, so many connecting routes in and out of the city. This was properly planned in order to avoid the level of congestion and traffic that Lagos was experiencing at the time, and also to accommodate the future growth of Nigeria. So point 3, who is responsible for the planning of Abuja? All of these things we've talked about. who is responsible for it. So the Federal Capital Development Authority right here in Abuja is the agency that is responsible for planning, developing and implementing the Abuja Master Plan right here in Abuja. It was formed at the time when the government decided that Abuja was that location. So they were given the task to do the planning, given the task to do the developing, giving the task to carry out the implementation. Now, sometimes you hear things like, oh, the Abuja Master Plan has been implemented in this particular area in the city of Abuja, or you hear something, maybe you hear the FCT minister saying, oh, we are done with engineering infrastructure in a particular location right here in Abuja. For instance, that of Wuye was recently done here in the city of Abuja and was commissioned by the FCT minister. It was among the projects he was commissioning. What does that simply mean? The planning of Wuye, the designing of Wuye, the developing of Wuye was completed. Now, this boils down to roads, infrastructure, electricity, water supply, and the way Abuja is planned. Abuja is designed with sector areas, cadastral zones, districts, and phases. So each of these districts needs to have complete infrastructure that makes it a convenient, comfortable, and habitable community. So we have markets in almost every district, and when all of those are done, that is when you hear that engineering infrastructure in this particular district has been completed by the FCT minister. Now, this is not only for specific districts, right? It is meant to be for the entire Abuja. So the FCDA mandate is to oversee the infrastructural development, the planning, to ensure that the Abuja Master Plan is implemented, that everything that is happening in the city of Abuja conforms with the Abuja Master Plan. So this is why it is very important for you, when you're looking for a property to invest in the city of Abuja, you should also ask about the planning framework that governs the location of that land you're interested in. Find out if this land is where the location of the land is conforms or is in line with what is in the Abuja Master Plan. Don't just buy land because it is affordable or because you see it or because the area is height. The next is point 4. So what does the Abuja Master Plan really control, right? Let's get into the main meat. What does this plan actually affect? One major area is land use in Abuja. So right here, the plan shows you where commercial land use should be, where residential land use should be, where industrial land use should be, where institutional land use should be, and then other special, land uses should be, including green areas, parks, and gardens. This simply means that land in Abuja has different purpose, it has different uses. That is why sometimes when you reach out, or most times when you reach out to buy land and you do not understand this, you hear the consultant asking you questions like, what do you want to use this land for, or why are you buying? And then they go on to explain, oh, I'm buying because I want to build a commercial building for business. I'm buying because I want to build a family home for my family. I'm buying because I just want to use it for rental income, right? So if you've heard questions like this, it's just a way to guide you to ensure that you do not buy land for a different land use, because there are consequences. This is the situation where it could even lead to revocation of the land, or in most cases demolitions, right? So it is very important that you follow the Abuja Master Plan when you're choosing the kind of land you want to buy. First, you need to know why you're buying it, and then ensure that the land you're buying, the purpose actually aligns with why you're buying that land. Now, another major thing the Abuja Master Plan affects is infrastructure and roads. So the FCDA engineering department is responsible for planning, developing of infrastructure within the FCT, within the Federal Capital City, in accordance to the Abuja Master Plan, right? Now, this includes roads, electricity, water supply, sewages, and other infrastructure. And the most recent one that was commissioned by the FCT is the Apple Kaushi Expressway Road, and also there's a bridge that was recently launched that connects Jai and Gwarimpa. Now, these are just a few of some of those infrastructure developments that have been carried out by the FCDA in accordance to the Abuja Master Plan and was recently commissioned. Now, this also affects how the city expands. This is why you need to pay attention to where infrastructure goes, where the government is heading to. Those are some of the areas that are emerging areas, right? They are still part of implementing the Abuja Master Plan, but they are coming up, and those areas for you as an investor, you need to pay attention to it because you'll be able to get to those areas early, right? As expansion is heading towards them, and then take advantage of that, buy in early and enjoy long benefits on your investments. So the Abuja Master Plan divided Abuja into phases, districts, sector areas, all planned. Like I showed you the map earlier. Now, when you look at, I said it divided into phases. So this is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and then phase 5. Those are the 5 phases. And then the districts. Now, each of these phases have districts. So when you look at the phase 1, the districts in phase 1 include Maitama, Wuse, Garki, Guzape, Asokoro, those are the very popular ones. And then the phase 2, this is where you have Wuye, Kaura, Utako, Jabi, Kado, Gudu, Durumi, right? And I'll keep mentioning them on and on and on. This is part of the Abuja Master Plan. This is the map that it has divided Abuja into. So this means just one thing. Abuja wasn't designed to grow randomly. It was designed to expand, to grow outwardly. And the 5th point, which is also our final point today, is why you as an investor or a property buyer should care about the master plan. Why should you care? Now, this is the point where I would say you need to pay more attention. You need to, listen carefully. Because you're buying land, you're not just buying land, you're buying land in an already planned system. There are certain things you need to understand. You need to understand how that system is planned, how that system operates, how that system works, so that whatever you're buying will benefit you at the end of the day. This plan can help you ask better questions. For instance, this land I'm interested in, what is it designated for, right? And is the developer permitted, or rather is the development permitted in this area? That development that it is designated for, is it permitted in this area? The next is, what infrastructure is planned around the area? Another question you could ask is, what roads or major projects affect that location? Now, the last question we should also ask is the development consistent with the relevant planning regulations, right? So these questions matters because, of course, the authorities regulate the development in the FCT. It happens occasionally just to ensure that each development aligns with the Abuja Master Plan. This is why you see that some persons start construction, and then during these routine checks, you see that maybe it's written on the fence somewhere that, oh, your fence or your gatehouse is close to the fence, move it, right? And sometimes people already build, people construct in some situations. In fact, the one that happened about a few months ago somewhere in Guzape, this developer constructed 24 duplexes, right? Now, his plan that was approved by the FCDA was for 18 units of those duplexes, but he went ahead and built 24. Now, those extra, right, were built on a waterway. And when the FCDA came for their routine check, they realized that he went against the planning of that area. Guess what? Those houses were demolished. Okay, so following the plan would help you avoid situations like this. So imagine you buy land with the wrong use, you construct on it, you build on it. At the end of the day, you lose your investment, you lose your money. That is why for you as an investor, it is very important for you to understand the Abuja Master Plan. Now, if you've been following up until this moment, I believe that you've gotten value. And if you've gotten value, we'd like to know in the comments, right? If you have questions concerning the Abuja Master Plan, or you have questions concerning Abuja real estate investment, also drop that in the comments. Or if you have suggestions, you can also reach out. We'll help to guide you and ensure that you make the right investment decisions. For today, we focused on the part 1, and in our next part, which is the part 2, we're going to talk about how this plan affects property prices right there in the city of Abuja. If you're looking to invest in the city of Abuja, or you want more real estate tips, you can call the number you're seeing on screen, or you can send us a DM. Until we come your way again, have a fantastic day. See you soon.